Wrecking trains is serious business. It is a land-borne counterpart of submarine warfare, with this note added. Goods transported by train are classified urgent. Drama? Yes, there's plenty, but no dress rehearsals. It's strictly a one-night stand. Repeatedly staged in most Axis-occupied countries, only the plot remains unchanged. This picture is a dress rehearsal. Possibly the first time that men with their explosives have had the opportunity to actually practice sabotaging railroad cars and a locomotive. While she's still in one piece, let's introduce our opponent. The 280 locomotive tips the scales at 53 tons, tender at 49. First two gondolas gravel-loaded and groaning under a gross weight of 65 tons each. Third gondola filled with ties, hugging the track with a 40-ton burden. The remaining cars empty weigh in at 25. Okay, operator, back her up. Have you any ideas on how to wreck a train? Sounds easy, doesn't it? We're going to wreck this one with two 8-ounce charges of plastic explosive. Placed 6 inches apart, they will blow a 12-inch gap in an 85-pound rail. Technically interpreted, meaning 85 pounds to the foot. That's strange. Nothing happened. Hardly got a bump out of it. Let's take a telephoto look in slow motion. We could call this 12-inch gap a railroad chuck hole. But not a trap for wrecking trains. Evidently, we didn't place our charges far enough apart. This time we'll blow out two 8-inch gaps and leave a sleeper in between 20 inches long. When 350 tons of rolling freight crashes into this trick setup, something should give. The locomotive has no steam. She gets a good shove by a pusher engine and coasts down the straight section of track towards the gap where she opened. Something's gone wrong again. The tie under the 20-inch section gives a little, but the four spikes won't let go of the rail. Those cars wobbling are the empties, but not a wheel derailed. So we'll knock out that 20-inch sleeper. With a 36-inch gap, a roadbed of loose gravel and a soft foundation, she'll go caboose over engine. The engine's powered wheels are only 30 inches in diameter. When they drop off the track, the following wheels should, well, whatever they should do, they didn't. Only the pilot wheels derailed. The driving wheels rode the gap like a Jeep jumps a rut. The first two tires were broken, but that only made the empty gondolas bounce a little more. A 36-inch gap should have done the trick, but what we really need is a gap in both rails. So we'll take a 30-inch section from each track. The two gaps are exactly opposite, and there won't be the tendency of one wheel keeping the other headed back for the rail. Keep your eye on these gaps. That's where she'll wreck. Another dud. Wait a minute. No use going on with this run. Not one single wheel derailed, not even the pilot wheels. Those gaps being exactly opposite each other made the setup too evenly balanced. This time they're staggered with the centers offset 15 inches. Now the wheels will get a twist and decidedly bear off to one side or the other. The gap can't be seen from here, but it's at the same. The pilot wheels flipped off again, but that doesn't wreck trains. 5 runs over an assorted pattern of broken tracks. By theory, any one of them should have wrecked her. Ignoring theory, there's one fact that we positively know. No train can float over a 58-inch gap. The pilot wheels are 30 inches in diameter, and the driving wheels are 50. Trains run on tracks, not ties. That's simple deduction, but the kind of logic that makes for good train wrecking. This time, we'll give our stubborn customer an extra wide berth. She'll hit that open space at 26 miles an hour, and when she does, nothing happens to the engine, tender, first, second, third, fourth. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Let's take a closer look at that. Running light, their wheels bounced right off the track. But those are the empties. The loaded cars are still on the track. These cars really hang together. That makes 6 runs, 6 upsets, and 6 theories partially disproved. We'll try it once more, with 60 inches of rail out of one track and 30 out of the other. The centers of the gaps will be offset by 30 inches. That's a lot of track to blow out, but obviously it can't be wrecked on less. Okay, engineer, give her a hard push. Here she comes, and there go the cars. The tender's front truck straddled the rail, ripped it off the ties, and wrecked the other cars. But the old iron horse just wouldn't bite the dust. By these tests, we have proved that wrecking engines is not easy. To minimize the uncertainties of success in the field, the Office of Strategic Services intends to continue its cooperation in experimental operation. We now better understand why efforts in subversive warfare sometimes fail, and hail the successes with even greater admiration.